the issue. There were a few times where there were search services that were hung on the server, and so I had to force close those, and then when I restarted everything, it was great. It was working again. We have not been able to isolate the issue. We've asked our the people that we contract with when we run into issues that we can't resolve, and they don't have any specific answers either. So we're all thinking that the server upgrades will hopefully resolve those issues, as well as going to the new version of Evergreen. So I've been working on that, and actually this last week, so Thursday and Friday, I was working on the Sage server, which is it's our test server, and was running into issues with the operating system not wanting to install the upgrade. I finally got past all that and got that all completely up to date, and then was going to work on upgrading Evergreen and all those components that are related to it, and then reload the database, test it, make sure everything's working. So that's going to be my goal for this week, is to get all of that done, because as I'm doing all this, I'm writing down all the steps that I'm doing, documenting everything, and along with all the different references and troubleshooting and everything, so that way when I go to do this on the live servers, we can hopefully cut everything down to a substantially, so that it's a much easier process. Because obviously I don't want us to be down for any longer than absolutely necessary. Let's see, is there anything else? That's everything I can think of about the servers. Are there any questions or concerns?
I just wanted to add, John, that we will be sending an email out on the listserv, letting folks know when we're going to actually schedule the upgrade. And it's just an operating system upgrade first on the live servers. So we're going to have some downtime, most likely on a Sunday, because that's at this point, that's the day that most libraries are closed, especially later in the afternoon or evening. But anyway, we will get some notification out to you as to when we will be taking those servers down. And so you can also, and there'll be a message up on the screen for the patrons to see that the system's temporarily down. But we want you to be in the communication loop.
Thank you. I did forget that part. Let's see. So the next thing is all the stuff that the Cataloging Mentors Committee has been working on, which is quite a lot.
John, can I interrupt? Sorry,
Of
this
course.
is Anna.
Yeah.
Do you still want us to send you tickets for search problems?
Yes,
and do
please.
you want to go over maybe you could specify the information that you want us to include in the ticket?
You want to go ahead, Beth?
Well, I guess at this point, just getting an email, phone call, any kind of communication you want to have to let us know that you're having search problems. And that will jumpstart us to say, okay, let's restart the services so that we can minimize the search issues. There for a while, we're having you give us some specific examples, but we found out that we can't really track, the logs aren't detailed enough for that particular problem to be able to tie it to a specific search. So if you just let us know you're having problems searching, not getting search results, when you expect to get search results, that's good enough.
Exactly. So, any other questions or anything? Okay, so the first item on the agenda is the read-alongs. And Anna has just been spearheading this and has done a tremendous amount of work on this. She's developing all the training materials, examples, and everything. And it's really close to being ready to be released to the group. So is there anything that you would like to add, Anna, about this?
Well, just in case, so many of you who have been attending the meetings regularly probably remember that several months ago now, I guess it's been a while, we first talked about the read-alongs and mentioned that we're looking at standardizing some of the procedures on importing and matching, attaching, choosing records for read-alongs. They're very complicated items. So just we're still working on that, and we're getting close to the end, and so then we will be offering some documentation and training on that.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions or anything at this point? Okay, I'm not hearing anything. Let me just have a quick thing I wanted to check here. So as far as the series, that it's a subgroup that I'm on, but Lori's kind of sort of spearheading it, I guess. I know she was, I don't think she's here today. I don't see her on the list. Should we postpone that for next time?
Well, I think we can just give a brief overview, basically, of what you guys are working on,
Okay.
resolving some conflicts with
Series titles.
series titles, yeah, in the 245, as well as, what do you do?
The 490 and the 800s, yeah, just to make sure that everything matches up with the authorities and the actual authorized authorities. I mean, series statements. I'm repeating myself, but to make sure that the series is actually matches up with everything that you can find. Whether you're using fantastic fiction, or a novelist, and basically so that it displays properly for the patrons, so that they can find what they're looking for. But we need to finish fleshing out the training so that when you have a series that splits or gets reordered because of publisher or author, or in the case of some series where the author has died and then someone else picks up the series and continues it, we have to be able to make sure that it's clear for the patrons that they know what's there, and basically the follows the story arc, so that way they're getting things in the right order without having to do a lot of research on their own. And there's a lot of we're seeing a lot of variation in how things are entered into the system, and so we want to finish getting that training put together so that way we all are on the same page as to the best approach. I mean, because every series is going to be slightly different. You're going to run into ones that don't match what we have examples of, but to give our catalogers the best that we can, so that with cataloger judgment you can then proceed ahead. Does that sound good? Am I missing anything?
And I just wanted to mention that that particular piece is almost complete as well. So
yeah,
stay tuned. There will be some information coming out soon. Go ahead.
Well, and also I think we wanted to just open up the floor here. And are there particular issues that some of you are encountering with regard to series that you hope get addressed as we move forward with laying out the procedures and guidelines for how to how to handle series.
Well, I don't hear anybody, and I don't see anything in chat.
Well, I would encourage folks to think about it, and if you remember something after the meeting, go ahead and send one of us an email so that we can have it as an example or make sure that it's addressed in the series guidelines.
Yes, please. The more feedback we can get, the better. So, okay, well, so the next item is the audio visual items, so the 300 field. So again, we're working to standardize training for that. So things like Blu-ray and DVD combo sets, things like that, so that it's standardized. It's clear as to which format is present, and clearly we want to make sure that catalogers are putting the correct format on the correct record. So we want to make sure everybody's actually checking that field when they are inputting their items. There's also going to be some more training coming down the line about how to actually set those up so that everything displays correctly with the multiple icons, if there are multiple icons that need to be displayed, and things like that. Am I missing anything?
No, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, and I just saw Lisa's comment. So yes, that's exactly what we want. We want to be able to make sure that everybody's on the same page and that we're consistent across the system. Okay, as far as Realia, that's still in process. Do you want me to go ahead and pull up the attachments that Lori sent out?
I don't think we need to. We did want to ask folks, when we're talking about Realia, we're talking about things like equipment or groupings of items. An example of this would be like a maker kit. And we're wondering how many libraries are adding these things to their collection. I know I've been working with the Dalles to get these particular kits ordered, but maybe in Harney County starting to look at this. I know Baker has, but just curious about what kind of things of this nature that you guys are cataloging and may be having struggles with, because it's not your typical cataloging.
Exactly. So, well, again, if you have anything that comes to mind, just shoot one of us an email. If you think of something or come across a record that you have questions about, please just feel free to ask. Okay, so general questions regarding any of the above items. Does anybody have anything that they want to add? I'm not seeing anything, so if someone pops up with something, we'll just come back to it. That's fine. Okay, so as far as the SAGE website review, Beth, did you want to handle this?
Yeah, I can. Basically, why don't you go to the main cataloging page?
Okay. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay, perfect.
So interesting. So we kind of gone through this before where we have resources in this block and a link to more resources and then instructions down below. Cataloging sessions, we've had a couple cataloging sessions. I added one this morning that we had done a little while back on the 856 field. And there's one missing in here that is being processed right now. It took me a little while to locate it. And I've been using two different computers to do these recordings, and so it took me a little while to track down. But the one on subjects that was also done a little while ago, I'll have the link up shortly after the meeting. It's processing it right now, and I'll be able to load it up on YouTube. So those resources are there. I'm going to be adding an additional training page linked off of, I'll have to figure out the best place to make it primary. But we want to keep improving this website. So if you have any suggestions, be glad to entertain those. And I'm thinking, our policies are here in the center, the cataloging listserv. One of the things that was brought up at the mentor meeting, and I'm going to go through and tackle this, is to look at making sure that everybody that is on the cataloging contact spreadsheet is actually a part of the Sage Cat listserv, so that every cataloger is getting communications about trainings so that they can participate, and also tips or other resources that would be useful for their job. So I guess I tackled something that's on the later in the agenda, but it was
that's fine.
Seemed timely since we were on this page.
Exactly. So. Yeah, and I was just going to add, by going under it, if you aren't on it and you want to, I mean, it just says to contact Beth, which, I mean, you already know. And of course, it's got everything here that's recent. So. And
there is that search box that allows you to search the Sage Cat listserv for prior messages as well.
So if you don't have it on your local machine, obviously you can still get the information. Let's see. The next one is actually also yours, the subject indexes that you're working on, the juvenile index for the catalog.
Yeah. We used to have one way back when we were on the Millennium system. It was debatable whether we really needed to repeat the index on the Evergreen system, but we decided to go ahead and do it. I've created the index, but I have not gone back and re-indexed all the old records in the system. So anything new should be populating the index, but I need to go back through and make sure that anything that was cataloged before last week has entries in the index. And then what I'm going to do is add a search box on our main Evergreen search page that will allow us to search that index directly. So I don't know that we'll use it a ton, but I think it will be useful, and that's why we're doing it. Any questions about that? And then basically that's taking the LC subject headings, the 650, the 651, second indicator 1, and putting them. They'll also be in the main subject search, but we'll be able to also do a more direct search of just juvenile subject headings.
Yeah, that was the only thing I was going to add, which you just covered. So
okay.
Let's see. The next meeting is on October 1st at 11. Do you have any other training dates set?
I don't, but I would like to. We haven't had one for a while. Today is the 6th. I'd like to do one on the 16th, August 16th.
Are you looking for topics?
Yeah, we had some suggestions at the mentor meeting, but I'm always looking for suggestions from the catalogers. So send me an email if you have an idea.
Perfect. So is there anything else that we haven't already covered that needs to be covered? I'm not hearing anything.
So Jenny's asking, training is what date? Jenny, I'm looking at August 16th, same time, 1 p.m.
Perfect. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was thinking that I wanted to encourage folks to send questions out on the SageCat listserv. If you've got a series that you just don't understand, why you see it one way, one place, and another way, another place, and want to know what's the correct way, or you see an author that's listed weird. I guess I'm just saying, if you have a question, we don't want you to be reluctant to ask it, because we're supposed to be a resource for each other.
Yeah. Okay. The only other thing I could think of, and I actually forgot to write it down, which I didn't mention it earlier when I was talking about the servers and stuff, is that we went through and cleaned up the ebooks, so for CGCC, so that now we shouldn't have any other libraries seeing any of those old ebooks. So if you do come across them, please let us know. But that problem should be taken care of now. So, and I know most people weren't actually even aware of it, but there were some that were in the system that could be seen by the other libraries. So.
And the other thing, the other cleanup we did, John, was we removed the online government documents.
Oh yeah.
That were from EOU. So that cleaned up a lot of online resources that could have been displaying in the catalog.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's easy to forget the projects as in between the meetings. So, okay, well, if nobody else has anything else to add or questions, concerns, or anything, I guess it's time to go ahead and call it a day. Does that sound like a plan?
Sounds good, John.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks for coordinating the meeting.
No problem.
And I did the recording. I started a little bit late.
That's okay. I see that. So, yeah, thank you. And actually, part of the reason I wanted to do it is because I'm always in the background doing stuff. That doesn't mean everybody's aware that I'm even here. So it's kind of a way of saying, hi, I'm actually am here. And please feel free to contact me if you have anything that you think is relevant that I need to be involved in. So I just want to make sure that you guys all know that I'm here and happy to be here and love working with all of you. So anyway, I will go ahead and end the session now. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, John.
Mm-hmm.